It's good to have you on this episode of African Innovation Landscape. On this program, we delve into thought provoking conversations with Africa's leading experts in science, technology, and innovation. Today, we will be unlocking Nigeria's natural medicine potential, challenges, opportunities, and the way forward. We will explore the world of natural medicine in Nigeria, highlighting its benefits, challenges, and opportunities for growth. We will be talking to Professor Martins Emeje, a renowned expert in pharmacology and natural medicine development. Professor Emeje will share his insights on the current state of natural medicine in Nigeria, the challenges faced by practitioners, and the opportunities for innovation and growth. Interestingly, this edition of African Innovation Landscape is a special two-part series. In the first episode, we'll set the stage for the conversation, while we conclude next week. So, get ready as we uncover the keys to unlocking Nigeria's natural medicine potential. It's good to know you're still watching, but if you're just joining us, this is African Innovation Landscape brought to you by Idea Television. Before we went on that quick break, I said I was joined by an amazing trailblazer who has done so well for innovation in Africa, and I'll just be letting you know his bio. Professor Martins Emeje is a highly acclaimed scholar and researcher in the field of pharmacy and nanomedicine. His academic journey began with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy from Ahmadu Bello University, where he graduated with a distinction. He then pursued his master's and PhD in pharmacy from the University of Nigeria, earning the Best PhD award and being recognized as the face of research at the university. Professor Emeje has made significant contributions to the field of pharmacy and nanomedicine. He established Nigeria's first nanomedicine center and pioneered the development of indigenous drugs. His work on nanotechnology for drug delivery earned him a World Health Organization award, and he has been recognized globally by reputable institutions including the WHO and the African Academy of Science. As a prolific researcher and author, Professor Emeje has published over 150 articles and patents with over 2,500 citations. He has also supervised several master's and PhD students' projects and has trained over 100 pharmacist interns. Currently, Professor Emeje serves as the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria's Natural Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, where he focuses on quality management systems and public health innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, it's good to have you on African Innovation Landscape, Professor Martins.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited that we are in.
All right. So let's just start from the basis. Before you became the DG, what was that story? I mean, how did you find yourself here as a DG that we now know?
Okay. I don't know if I have the story chronologically because it's not something that I'm putting on paper.
Okay.
But as is expected, everybody will know somehow story around his or her path. For me, becoming Director General was not one of my ambitions. Yes, the only thing I wanted to be, and which my siblings, my parents knew, and close associates knew, is that I wanted to become a research professor.
Okay.
The only thing I wanted to do when I took a decision not to be a Reverend Father again was to become a researcher. By the way, you know, I'm a Catholic by faith, and you know, the Catholic Church and research, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you talk about the monks, you know, and the priests. So I wanted to be a priest, and so after NYSC, the idea of becoming a priest died, and then I said, okay, then I was going to be a researcher, and knowing what I knew at that time, I said I did not want to be in the class all my life teaching, even though the path of becoming a researcher will have a lot to do with teaching. So I went into research.
Okay.
And so I'm a researcher from the trainee level to the highest level. There's in Nigeria, I'm the only person who, as a trainee researcher, rose through the ranks of research, path, and to the level of becoming a research professor and becoming a director general of a research institute. Every other person, one way or the other, who is heading any research institution or who has headed any research institution in Nigeria, were people who were taken from one university or one institution or the other to come head the research institute. So my journey um, um, into research, you know, started at the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development,
Okay.
IDU, Abuja, where I did internship because I'm a pharmacist.
Okay.
And then studying pharmacy, you do what we call a 1-year internship. So I had my 1-year internship there, and that's where I also started working. So I had the opportunity and privilege of working in the lab all of these years with wonderful mentors, teachers, and fathers and mothers of the academic world who saw me through, all of that. And it got to in 2013, November 21 specifically, November 20 and 21, the board of the institute, after they met and decisions were taken on promotions, I became a research professor and settled more seriously into research, because I should say this, that in my 20 years as a researcher, I didn't like anything more than research.
Interesting.
I didn't like anything more than research, to the extent that nobody came to work before me, and everybody left work before me. Yes, because before 7 a.m. I was already in the lab, and by 8 p.m. I was still in the lab. Yes, and that's how I worked. And on Saturdays and Sundays, I was in the lab.
Wow.
Oh yes, and many of my students who will have the opportunity of watching this interview will be smiling, and some of them who were angry at that time will be thanking God now, because a lot of them write to me today, because so many, they are scattered around the world now, from US to China to India to Japan to UK. They are all writing to me, even those who cried because they felt I was being too strict with them, and saying that because on Christmas days we work in the lab. Even as DG, I was here on Christmas Day last year. Yes, but I'm also a man of faith, because the only thing I know is God. So, so that's how I have worked. So I have done this job, the job of research, and something that I love. It's something I like, and it's the only thing that I can really say when I do. It is my own hobby. When people say their hobby is jumping, my own hobby is tired in the lab. When colleagues say that, why come out, let's go to this place, let's go to that place to go and unwind, I tell them I unwind in the lab. They don't understand, but that's the truth. It is no other thing. But it just flows with me. And that's why when people ask me, what is your roadmap for research? I say, I am roadmap myself. I am the textbook. I'm the research textbook that people see and people read. So that's how it's been working in the lab, all of that, and it's been nice for me. Thank God, because there's been some divine touch to the work that I have done over the years, because unlike many people who have had the opportunity of getting government funding to do their research, I haven't been that lucky. I don't know if I should say luck, but I think today don't think it's luck, but it was painful then that one was not getting funds from government to do something, because um, when you see how government funded research in other climes, when you go there and then back at home, uh, nobody is providing the funds needed for research, it pains and it demoralizes. It's enough to discourage people. Some of us had the opportunity, several opportunities of not returning to Nigeria when we were there, but because we grew up in the village. I was born in the village. I wasn't born in the hospital. Yeah, so my mother gave birth to me in the village through traditional medicine doctors, one of the greatest people on earth. And so the least we thought that we were going to do was to apply the knowledge of science and technology, the Western education that we went to school to get, to solving the problems in our own society. Otherwise, we are a bunch of failures. And so that's how we have gone all the way. So not getting government funding, therefore, instead of it becoming a problem to me, it became an opportunity, really, because I was privileged as a young, upcoming scientist. Just one degree then, Bachelor of Pharmacy, to have a Director General, Dr. Ufot Inyang, God bless memory, who exposed me. It was the reason I stepped out of the country for the first time, and I capitalized on that opportunity. When I stepped out, and then that was how the meteoric rise began. Every opportunity, even where it did not exist, I created it, and used it, So I started writing for grants. So right from as a young boy, in fact, I should also say this, that one of the things that the Director General, Dr. Ian, did then was to tell the researchers of the agency to write proposals for the agency itself to give you grants. So yes, so the first 23 researchers out of 56 who got grants, I was one of them. I got 2. Wow. In fact, even my seniors were getting 1. Some didn't get anything, but I got 2. I got 2 grants, 1 million each. So far back then, 2005 or 2006. So that was how one launched the rope. Started writing, started getting grants, and then started getting international grants. It became like it was now normal. You just see a call, you write, you get the funding in foreign currency, and then you go to the lab and do what you said you will do. You see, the difference between competitive grant and the donation by development partners is that in competitive grants, there is call. So the funder says what he wants done. So you respond to the call. If you win the grant, you do exactly what they tell you to do. You do and submit your data to the funder. It has its own disadvantages, because as a country, and that's how some of us got trained out, really, because as a country, if you do not provide the resources for your scientists to do the work, the funders will provide the resources, and then your scientists, your own scientists, will now do the work, submit the data to the funders. So while some of us were happy that we did not leave the country, we stay in our country so that we can make contribution to development of our country. But there was also this part that right there in your country, you are getting foreign money to do studies in your country, but submit data to the foreign funders. So, that's how I've worked, until it culminated in the biggest thing that ever happened to me as a researcher, was when I successfully led a group of scientists to get a grant, a foreign grant of about 11.6 million US dollars, which to this time is still the biggest grant that any scientist has attracted from outside Nigeria to this country. It is what it is specifically for development of drugs for diabetes, malaria, and tuberculosis, and establishment of a nanomedicine center, which is the only one in our region here. So that is where I was working. So I was working in my lab there at NIPRID, until I saw a call by actually before I became this director general, really, there was a call for people to apply to be considered for vice chancellor of a European university. Now, because of my experience outside this country, because of the places I have had opportunity and privilege to work, those laboratories, and by the way, I have worked in advanced laboratories, middle rated laboratories, and what I call wretched laboratories. And I'm talking of laboratories where you don't talk about light going, or no water, or there's nothing you will lack. Advanced laboratories. I'm talking of laboratories where some things are available, some things are not available, middle, and I won't call those countries. Then I'm talking of very wretched laboratories where distilled water is actually obtained by plugging pipe to the air condition. So you don't use distiller. There's no distillers. It's the water from the air condition that we use in the lab as distilled water. I'm talking of when we use matches to light candle to work in the laboratory. So I have worked. So you can see that. So when I say there's divine touch in my career, I know exactly what I'm saying, because born in the village, born outside the hospital, drank herbal medicines and traditional medicines to survive, then move to laboratories where there's nothing and you work there, then go to laboratory that everything is available, then work there. In fact, I remember one professor in London telling me, who left me in the lab at night, and when she came back in the morning, she asked, "Are you sure you are a human being?" Because where I was coming from a country where if you want to do dissolution, you use syringe and needle to withdraw and go and put in a test tube, then before you put in a cuvette and then put in a spectrophotometer. But I was in a lab where your own is just to on the machine. You don't do anything, just sit down while sampling is being done by the machine and reading is coming out and it's being printed. So why would I go and sleep? So it was like that. So and then so I applied to I contested for that vice chancellor position at the European University because I had an ambition, I had a vision. I said, now that I was a professor, research professor, and that's the only thing I wanted to be. And by the way, research professors are highly respected. They are the most. You can Google it, you will see more about it yourself. Why they are more respected than teaching professors. So I had an ambition of, given an opportunity, I would want to drive a research and development university in my country. There's difference between having a research and development university and having a conventional university. So we went for that interview, and then the panel of interviewers saw that I had a vision and I knew exactly where I was going. So they gave me the job. So I became the pioneer vice chancellor of that university. But somehow, as fate will have it, maybe because God also knows that probably He has prepared me better to do this than that, while we were putting all things together. I also took part in the interview that resulted in this. So, and then you said, how did you become this director general? I became director general. There was public announcement. There was call for application from all scientists that think they have outstanding career in this area of research to apply. We did. So many people applied, and we had the exam. It was an online exam. Yeah, so nobody saw anybody. We were not allowed to go. It's one of the things that I commend the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology for. That they actually live to the name of the ministry, because the examination to get the Director General for their agencies were done online. Did the exam online. So eventually, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria appointed me, following the processes of the board of the agency and the minister of the ministry and all of that, giving their green light to the recommendation or the results of the committee responsible for the examination and the interview. And that's how I became the Director General of my agency. My agency is called the Nigeria Natural Medicine Development Agency. You can call us Natural Medicine. You can call us Traditional Medicine Agency. You can call us NNMDA. You can also call us Babalawo Agency. I'm a proud Babalawo.
I was coming to that later.
Yeah, I'm a proud Babalawo DG. My colleagues call me anytime I appear anywhere there. My Director General that I mentioned, who is late now, so rest in peace, Dr. Ufot Ian, and Professor Solomon Waka were very good friends. And I will respect Professor Waka till tomorrow, because those are the people, those are the kind of people that Africa needs. Those are the kind of people that Africa needs, because his head that you see, has a lot of things inside. And I'm talking of positive, destructive things in his head that can change the society. And I'm a beneficiary. I'm a beneficiary of one of his destructive initiatives called ANDI, African Network for Drugs and Diagnostics. Yes, ANDI. It was a very innovative project of the World Health Organization, that time TDR, that Solomon spearheaded. My DG drove it, Dr. Ian drove it then. And it was more of a capacitating project, building the capacity of young Africans in the area of drugs and diagnostics. So throughout Andy period, there was no Andy scientific meeting I did not attend. There was no Andy scientific meeting I did not have an abstract accepted, and I was always a winner at Andy meetings. My innovation prize is proudly on my table. Yes, it's proudly, but not here. It's my lab in Abuja is there, and on the nanotechnology project that I did. So is that's been the journey so far. Now as DG, I have been struggling to do this DG. What do I mean by struggling? I'm happier when I'm in the lab than when I sit here. Is the job you have accepted to do. So, but when you are in the lab, it gives you opportunity to think, do stupid thinking, to do things, to question things that cannot be questioned. That's what gives those of us who work in the lab and we are happily working in the lab, that's what gives us joy. The fact that you see green and white and you say, why is it green? And you can do something to see if something will happen, or the fact that you just mix two things and it can kill somebody. Yes, like if I want to kill anybody in 30 seconds, I can just kill the person. That's because I work in the lab. So am I not super?
Super.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So in the same way, there are diseases, we want to deal with this disease, and for those of us who are in the area of drug design, preparation, and delivery, we want this drug to go straight to the liver to pick up the disease that is in the liver. Don't branch any other place. It's called target drug delivery. And you are able to achieve it. Those things give satisfaction and joy. So that's what one has been able to do. So working here as Director General this last 1 year is been fulfilling because I have been able to combine my work as Director General and my work as a researcher in the lab. And I have a wonderful set of researchers. Now I know why divinely I came to this place, because I have people who are ready to have 99.9% of my researchers want to also work in the lab. So anytime they see me in the lab, they are excited. When they don't see me, they secretly send me message, we are missing you, why are you not coming, and all of that. So, so that is how it has been.
Wow, very interesting and exciting story. But one thing that stood out for me all the while you were narrating your journey: tenacity and strong will. You're a very strong-willed man, and I must commend that.
Thank you.
Now that you've spoken about the agency, I like you to. I know you've spoken, generally about what you do, but I like you to be more specific about what the agency does, the initiatives.
Okay.
I came in here and it was a very vibrant space.
Okay.
But what exactly does NNMJ do?
You can see that is to 5 p.m. now in the evening that you're going to see my researchers in the lab, and it has nothing to do with you coming to our lab today, because this is how we are. You should also be able to see, if they have not changed it, there's a shift, there's a duty roster where my researchers do shift.
Okay.
So our lab is on 24 hours.
247.
By the way, we have light 24 hours anyway. So we are a country in our country. Yes, we are not discouraged by anything in this agency. We are not discouraged by anything. Not money can discourage us. Yes, we do what we want to do, money or no money. Yeah, you can see you have come to visit us without we saying you come, take money, come, which is what many institutions do. Many institutions, they pay money for journalists to come and interview them, or to come to their organization to talk about them. DG for 1 year now have not paid any journalist one kobo, but more than 25 different media organizations have been covering us.
Wow.
Yes. So, and that's the same spirit we take to our lab. We do our work. What we don't have, we don't need. Yes. So what we have, we use it to achieve our purpose. I came to this agency. I met this agency minus 62 million naira. Minus 62 million naira. That is agency in debt. Okay. Now we are millions rich. Yes. And we are credit worthy. Yes. If we tell any come and do, they will come, because they know that we are the hottest research institute in Nigeria right now. You know why? Because we don't joke here. Okay, so this is how we started. Growing up as a young man, People will be employed into government. I will be hearing that because it's government work, that's why people don't take it serious. Whereas there are contemporaries that were employed into the banking sector, into the pharmaceutical industry, into private sector. They will just be doing and they cannot rest. I mean, as a pharmacist, my colleagues who graduated as pharmacists, who were employed as medical representatives by pharmaceutical industries, giving cars, they will tell me that they have targets. They tell me they are told that their target every month 1 million naira. They must sell drug of 1 million naira. So when I became DG, I had meeting with my researchers. I said, you see, anybody who has this notion that in government work you do it anyhow you like, in my time there will be no doing it anyhow you like. I have never been to Lagos. This is my first time. It's this job that brought me to Lagos. When I came here, one of the things that got me upset was that people come to work very late. I just told you that throughout my own working life of over 20 years, 2 decades, I come to work before 7 in the morning. I came here, they say 11 a.m. They say it's normal. That Lagos, it is normal to come to work at 11 a.m. That is normal. What's normal about coming to work at 11 a.m.? They say no, Lagos. In fact, those who are bold enough told me that, sir, Lagos is not Abuja. That Abuja roads are free. Everything is there. But that Lagos, that hold up, that if you leave your house 4 a.m., before you get here, it will be 11 a.m. And that when you close, if you wait till 4 to close, if you don't leave around 3, that if you close at 4, you will get home 12 midnight or 1 a.m. I say, So I use one day to study my environment in Victoria Island. And I noticed that there are so many banks in this place and so many private organizations. So, and as DG, new DG, 7:30, I was already in this compound. And I will see that those places, by 8, they are all opened. So I started I called my staff to a meeting. We had this big staff forum. I said, those of you, if you are here and you have a brother or sister or relative that is working in the private sector, raise your hand. Almost everybody raised their hands. Next question. I said, those of you who raise your hands, if you left home before that your relative to work today, or he or she left home before you, raise your hand. It was clear to everybody that all the people who have relatives working in private sector, they all leave home before those of them who work with government. So you can see it's attitudinal. It's orientation, it's attitudinal. Because you are working for government, you take it for granted. Those who are working in private sector, they go early, so they go to work. I told them, as long as that your relative can leave home early and come and go to their own office at 8, you will come here by 8. Today, in this agency, 7:45 a.m., we are all here. 7:45 in the morning. The same Lagos that they say people don't come to work early. So for us as an agency, therefore, one of the targets we gave ourselves was that in 6 months, we should have an accreditation of a school that will be responsible for teaching people how to believe in themselves, how to respect their own culture, how to put value on their country and cultural endowment. Because Nigeria is fully endowed. Plant biodiversity, varieties of animals. If I tell you the type of insects that we have in Nigeria and the medicines that we can develop from the insects, we have a full insectry that we are developing here at Ngweribe in Lagos. So, and we got our school accredited by the National Board for Technical Education. education. So now we run a 2-year diploma program in natural medicine. Target surpassed. We told ourselves, in 18 months, we are going to launch 6 products for 6 deadly diseases. Malaria, upper respiratory tract infections, hypertension, diabetes, sickle cell, anemia, ulcers, cholera. You know, cholera is endemic in Nigeria. And we told ourselves that because of the short life expectancy that we have in Nigeria now, as part of our target, we're also going to launch an anti-aging product to prolong the life, to reduce the rate at which people age. By the way, during my postdoc, I worked on looking at the DNA, the gene actually responsible for the long life of Galapagos tortoise. Galapagos tortoise has a lifespan of about 450 to 460 years, while the Drosophila has a lifespan of about 14 days. So I looked at the gene for Galapagos and looked at the gene for Drosophila to see how, as a pharmacist, I could come up with a drug that will increase the lives. And we did something, and we were able to extend the life of Drosophila. So that experience was handy here at home, and we tried to, and in less than, our target was 18 months, but from July to March, that wasn't 18 months, it wasn't even 1 year. And our minister, Chief Uche Naji, came to Lagos. He had to fly from Abuja to Lagos because he was excited, he was happy, he felt very honored, and because as a businessman himself, as a heavy player in the private sector, he knew what that meant to the government of our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. So he flew in to launch those products on the 8th of March 2024. And it was the first time that we were launching some oral solid dosage formulations here at the agency in about 3 decades of its existence. So it was a huge event for, in fact, I will not forget when in my speech that day, I told my minister that I would like to put it on record that in this country, no minister or no agency, no DG, no agency, no minister launched 4 health products at a time. And people clapped for me. But when it was my minister's turn for his speech, he said, I would like to correct the DG. He said that no minister in Nigeria has launched 4 health products. It is not true. Let me tell you what is true, and better say it that way, is that in Africa, no minister has launched 4, and trust us, as researchers, we try to find out it was true. He's also a scientist.